Well, hello there. My name is Dave Bila. I want to welcome you to this new edition of News and Views broadcast by Access Support County on Public Access TV Channel 99. We are a weekly public opinion program addressing local, state, and national topics and issues of interest to the Michigan City and surrounding areas. Our opinions are the views and the responsibilities of those making the comments and do not necessarily reflect or represent the views of this program or its co-producers. We will adhere to broadcast rules, but absolutely no one's First Amendment rights of freedom of speech or freedom of the press will be either muzzled nor denied. Any unauthorized use of the accounts, descriptions, and events of this program without the express written consent of Larry Curley or Schmo is strictly prohibited. We hope you enjoy the program, the discussion, and the participants. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll try to be as concise as I possibly can. Indiana law 36-7-25-7, which basically spells out the responsibilities of the Redevelopment Commission, has been amended by Senate Bill 1 to basically say that 10% of the revenue derived on new construction from the TIF district can go to an entity such as the Michigan City area schools, the City of Michigan City, or other municipal entities. 10% of that revenue goes to such as the Michigan City area schools if they make a formal request to the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission. Well, this last meeting, 17th of November, the issue was brought up, and Skylar York basically said that we will continue a $600,000 a year stipend, so to speak, to the Michigan City area schools for 2 years, and upon the third year, we will enter a negotiation with the school system to consider additional financing. Basically, he said that the Redevelopment Commission does not have the funds available to say to the Michigan City area schools, here's your $1 million. Well, I've been saying this issue starting at 2022. I made a presentation to the Redevelopment Commission specifically on this issue, and it was explained to me by an attorney who sits on the Redevelopment Commission that I didn't know what I was talking about, and that they can continue carte blanche to do whatever they want to do. Well, they had the responsibility for 7 years to send to Indiana Department of Government Finance a yearly report mandating how much money they got coming in. They didn't do it for 7 years until last year. Last year was the first year that they sent money to the Indiana Department of Finance. Tony pulled this, when I said it a long time ago, he pulled it up on his iPhone and he found that it was true. Well, the Redevelopment Commission failed on their responsibility to state law to provide to the state of Indiana a financial statement of their standing. They have, like, in effect, about what, $14 million in the bank. They have a lot of fingers in the fire throughout the community for economic development. And could it be said that maybe they've overextended themselves? Could it be said that this 15% appropriation to the schools, which is now 10% based on Indiana's House Bill 1, could it be said that they don't have enough money to go around and appropriate funds when they are mandated by the state to do so? Whether it's in 2018 or whether it's in this last 2024 House Bill 1. I'm just saying that if they do not have the money to provide to the school city what they are required to do by state law, something isn't right. Something is not right. And when the issue was brought up, Skylar York said, well, based on the new tax laws and this and that, they questioned whether it would have a bearing on this appropriation, so they decided not to give the school city the money that they are deserved to get, that they are deserved to be appropriated by Indiana state law. They're violating state law. They're violating state law, and I proved it. I've been saying it, and I know now other entities that I've been in communication with have discovered other areas that are questionable in regards to the Redevelopment Commission. I'm just saying, if the entities such as Michigan City Area Schools is entitled to the money, they should be paid, and other future expenditures should be set aside until they comply with state law. Right now they're in violation of state law. Maybe a solution is to present this evidence, which we have on recording through ELCO, present this evidence to the Attorney General and let them investigate the Redevelopment Commission for possibly misappropriation of funds or overextending themselves. There's something is not adding up in regards to the budget. This Form 22 that will be available in December, appropriating the accumulated tax draw by the Redevelopment Commission for the various TIF districts. I don't have it in I don't have the fall draw information in hand right now. But over the last 2.5 years, the Redevelopment Commission has accumulated over pretty close to $30 million. And what do we have to show for it here in the city of Michigan City? We've got a lot of people who are beneficiaries of engineers, lawyers, a lot of individuals are advisors. How many advisors have the Redevelopment Commission put on the dole so that they could advise how to produce economic development in the city of Michigan City, when in effect they're not complying with Indiana state law?
What happened to the Baker-Tilly report?
Oh, on the Baker-Tilly report, this is 2 meetings ago. Baker-Tilly, when they made the presentation to the city council, they said that the Redevelopment Commission is going to establish a budget. This budget is $1 million, $1 million a month for the next 12 months. If the Redevelopment Commission had $1 million a month for the next 12 months, that's $10 million, and they've got $9 million coming in. Something just don't add up. State law mandates for them to establish a budget. They're not doing it. Is that the proper use of tax funds? I realize it's from the TIF district. It's from improvement within the TIF district. But the fact of the matter is, you gotta wave that carrot, and you gotta spread the wealth. And right now, I see the Redevelopment Commission putting all of its eggs in 1 or 2 or maybe 3 baskets. And if one of those 1 or 2 or 3 baskets don't materialize, where is the redevelopment going to be? Outside looking in. An interesting fact, Once Doomed School is a national finalist. Kingsbury's, a local grade school once on the verge of closing, receives national recognition. Kingsford Heights Elementary School is among a handful of schools still in the running for national awards for things like academic achievement. The community has a lot of individuals who are at or are below the poverty level, but somehow they overcame that roadblock to obtain this recognition. Don't you think that the Redevelopment Commission could acknowledge that maybe an investment in education might bear some fruit? Okay? This is, and Kingsford Heights, I guess, is now on ELCO. And so I applaud these people in Kingsford Heights doing what they're doing. And its eligibility is often based on percentage of students who qualify for free or reduced lunch programs, with a common threshold of being 40%. The school was targeted for closure last year to reduce costs in response to revenue losses over 10 years. After considerable pushback from the community, the school was kept open and another elementary school was closed. You got people getting involved in a little bitty Union Township. I remember Union Township when I was a boy and their basketball programs. And Kingsford Heights is basically Union Township. If these people can do that down south, what's wrong with our board, our rubber stamp redevelopment commission, not issuing a similar concept here in Michigan City? It all revolves around education, people, not revolves around building gigantic hotels for the wealthy to sit in and look at the NIPSCO property when they look at to the northeast window or northwest window, looking at the NIPSCO property. We got our priorities backwards, people, and we've got the redevelopment commission pushing the sheep around in Michigan City, and no one recognizes the viable asset that we have in redevelopment. But redevelopment isn't going where it's supposed to be going. Gentlemen, I rest my case.
All right, well, I'll pick up some of this. First of all, I happen to be one that thinks that the solar development, done properly, is a huge positive for Michigan City. Yes, we're going to have some people sitting around in the hotel. We're going to have some people sitting around in the hotel when they pay their bill are going to be contributing to Michigan City. We have some people sitting around in a hotel that are going to go down and eat in a restaurant. That's contributing to Michigan City because it creates jobs. They will also go over sometimes to Blue Chip. That creates jobs. They probably will go out and fish for salmon or trout. That creates jobs in Michigan City. Now, the next part of this is, I think the Michigan City school system has about 6,600 students. We need to find out, because it's not the Michigan City school system. It was when I was growing up. It's the Michigan City area school system. Now, what has to happen is those students who come from outside of Michigan City, their governmental units need to be able to provide the same amount that Michigan City is providing. We should not be, because it is an area school system, having to pay for the entire situation. They need to, in Cool Spring Township, in Springfield Township, Long Beach, Duneland Beach, Beverly Shores, they need to fork up their percentage portion based on the number of students that they have in the school system in Michigan City. So if 2/3 of the students in the school system, then 2/3 of that money should go to Michigan City. But another third should also come from the other districts. I yield my case.
This is where this is where the rubber meets the road. On Bob's side, if SOLA and 11th Street, and there's a third project, right? If these projects do not come to fruition and bring money in, because we have promised to loan TIF funds to these people, which means the school's not getting any money, the police, the fire, they're not getting any of that money unless it comes from jobs or people spending money. So if these projects don't come to fruition, we were promised a whole bunch of people in the double track. That has not come to fruition. If these do not come to fruition, and I'm going to go back to when all this started and after the redevelopment started in your days, when the redevelopment got its money from Blue Chip, and I understand the mayor came out and was in budget talks saying that the money has been going less and less and less and less coming from Blue Chip. That, I don't understand how that isn't a clear indication that what the Redevelopment Commission and the Economic Development Commission have been doing with the redevelopment's money, that's not working. If these funds were coming in, $30 million so many years, supposedly $8 or $9 million a year, it used to be 12 or 14 million a year, has been slowly decreasing. It's not working. Things are not working. And I would say this is where the rubber meets the road. These three concepts we are doing right now do not bring in money, then we need to stop the Redevelopment Commission and all the TIFs because it didn't work. And I can tell you for a fact, all you got to do is look at the state of California. They started the concept of TIF. State of California has gotten rid of TIFs because they did not function. If they functioned as designed, as the TIF money came in, they would reinvest it to growth and growth and growth. And that's not happening. We are seeing reinvestment and a decrease in growth, and a decrease and a decrease in growth. So now we have these projects. If they do not come to fruition, if they do not generate the money as an increase in revenue money from the TIF, it's a failure. And we need at some point to admit it doesn't work because the TIF money we promised to other people and other projects does not go to police, fire, school. They don't get that money. It's supposed to increase the revenue, jobs, sales, to increase the money coming into the city and the school and the fire and the police and garbage, but it's not. And I think this is it. I think this is the day that it either works or it doesn't. If SOLA does not come and open up, if 11th Street doesn't get fully filled up with people and producing revenue at the bottom, we got to call the ball. That's it. We're done. It didn't work. We tried. We got to try something different. What do they say the definition of stupidity is? We keep trying the same thing, expect a different result.
We just approved.
I agree with what Tony's saying. This has to prove positive.
Yes.
Right now, it looks like the data center will do that.
Well, the data center wasn't any of our money.
No.
Was none of our money. That
That's
was some
part of our
state money.
development. That's part of our development.
But that was not TIF
That's
money.
part of our development.
That was state money. That was not
I
our
don't care
TIF
where the
money.
money comes from, as long as it's a positive for
But it
Michigan
doesn't
City.
come from TIF.
Now, let me go to the other part of that you didn't talk about, which is the number of students in the Michigan City area school system.
100%.
We're using Michigan City money only. Dave has not gone after money from other areas that have students in the Michigan City area school system. He wants us to use Michigan City money to pay for everything. When the concept of the area school system came about, the theory was that it would be evenly divided throughout. Now, part of this is true. In Long Beach, in Dunlin Beach, in those areas, they have higher value homes, so they pay a little more property taxes. But the point is that if Michigan City is going to pay for $3 million and only 2/3 of the kids in the school system are from Michigan City, then those other areas have to pick up that $1 million.
And Michigan City needs students. Not just Michigan, every school district needs students, and they are going to fight tooth and nail. The fight is going to get harder every year. There are not students being born. They need students. We get paid $6,600 per student. If we don't get more students, we don't get more money. And the redevelopment is choosing projects like SOLA and 11th Street and other projects. He's talked about Kingsford Heights. Kingsford Heights is growing. They had a problem because LaPorte School District was going to close them down because LaPorte School District, and I think Michigan City did this, I don't remember if they switched back, took students out of the primary elementary schools and put them into the junior high. So it shrunk their elementary schools, which Michigan City did too for a while. I don't know if they still do it. So they took students from the local elementary schools in LaPorte, and they were going to close Kingsford Heights. But Kingsford Heights had a bonus sitting in the back they didn't realize. They're growing leaps and bounds. Go down to Kingsford Heights. Go down, drive down there. They've done 20 lots in 6 months. And these are $300,000-$400,000 homes. This is Kingsford Heights. There's nothing much in Kingsford Heights. It's a good little community, except a dollar store, another store, and a gas station out front. They have nothing like LaPorte, let alone nothing like Michigan City. They're growing leaps and bounds. They are bringing families and kids. The Redevelopment Commission, I don't believe, is focused on bringing families and kids
No, they're not.
into the school district at $6,600 a student. And if we don't do that, so they've chosen SOLA, 10th, 11th Street, Michigan Boulevard, 9th Street, Memorial property. If we don't bring families and students, I'm working on a project in LaPorte County in the Westville School District. And I'm working on it, and the developer has one reason for doing it, and it's been sitting there since 2008 to finish this project up. He's doing it because he wants Westville to have more families and students. Westville understands if we don't create places for families to build homes and come live here, we don't have the students, we don't have $6,600. And they proved that because Kingsford Heights brought in 20, 40, 50 homes in 2 years and brought families and students at $6,600 a student. And Michigan City and every other community is very aware. So I think the Redevelopment Commission, while they haven't got the money to the school district, which I think they should have gave them $1 million, I think it's a great investment. The return is obviously amazing. They should have focused on family homes. I've said it before, if you're going to do a memorial site, go down and look at it. You can see what it is. If you go on Beacon and look at it, and you see those are all individual lots. Those individual lots should have been turned back into single-family homes with students into the Michigan City District. But they didn't.
I don't have a problem with what Tony's saying. The problem I have is, yes, the Michigan City area is growing. Long Beach, Duneland Beach. They have many families that are moving into those areas. So are part of Michigan City. Shoreland Hills, Sheridan Beach, and out along Paz Road.
And the area is getting families and students.
Yeah, they are getting
But
families.
Michigan City proper, not so much.
Well, Sheridan Beach is in Michigan City. Shoreland Hills is in Michigan City.
Not getting the families and the students like Kingsford Heights,
Well,
Westville,
we have to look at the
New
numbers.
Prairie,
Next,
because we are focusing on Sola, 11th
let's look
Street,
at the census the next time
apartments
around.
on Michigan Boulevard.
Let's look at the census the next time around and see what we're getting. But we're getting them in, again, Shoreland Hills, which is part of Michigan City. We're getting them in Sheridan Beach, which is part of Michigan City. We will get more out along Paz Road, which is part of Michigan City School Spring Township,
We hope.
we hope.
And the best buck for Michigan City area schools is definitely in the county. They have families and homes that can go to Michigan City area schools. They'll get $6,600 for that. They don't provide police. They don't provide water. They don't provide sewer. They don't provide fire. They don't have to provide, or garbage. They don't provide any of that for the students that are coming out of the county. They're still getting $6,600.
Yeah.
So Michigan City would be wise to help the outskirts of the county in Michigan City area school system to grow. They would get more money.
No. This is, again, the situation when the area school system came about. It was decided that it would be treated fairly. When you start taking money out of Michigan City only and not taking into account the other children, not from Michigan City, but in the school system, that has to be divided equally, and their governmental units have to pay a fair share. I'm not asking them to pay any more. I am asking them to pay a fair share per student. Now, why is Michigan City ultimately going to grow? I'm going to change the subject a little bit.
Not yet, because I want to comment. This pertains to Indiana Code, Chapter 22, dealing with the creation of economic development districts, EIDs. They're establishing an EID for SOLA. Okay, these improvements under Chapter 22, under redevelopment, can go for streets and sidewalks and repairs, landscaping, enhanced security and sanitation, marketing and promotional activities. If we had areas such as the Memorial Hospital site that could be subdivided, economic development money could be put in place to subdivide. We wouldn't have to lose. The Redevelopment Commission lost $3 million on the the 6th and the Pine Street property because they invested $3 million of the revenue that they had in their kitty to invest in the property, and the property is still vacant today. The city of Michigan City...
Whoa, it feeds geese, for crying out loud.
Oh, yeah. Well, I use that term, yeah. The city of Michigan City continues to invest in grandiose ideas, and millions of dollars are spent on these grandiose ideas over the last 3 years, which
And the return on investment has not
showed
come
that. I'm just saying that. Hey, I drove down some road and I see the cracks in the road. Well, you would think that somebody would have sealed those cracks before wintertime comes in so that the water doesn't penetrate through the asphalt to make the streets heave. I see streets in Michigan City that there are no identification white marks on the side of the road.
fog line. They call that the fog line.
Right. Monies can be used from redevelopment to improve, to pick up the slack where the city can't, where the city don't have the funds to generate to pick up the slack. We could provide money to our street department to paint.
I have no problem.
Why isn't that being done then?
I have no problem with
Why
them.
isn't that being done?
Wait a minute. I have no problem with them providing money to our street department, to curbs and sidewalks in Michigan City. That's Michigan City money going for Michigan City.
But it's not being done, Bob. It hasn't been done since 2000 and regardless. 2018,
Well, they
when,
put some money into a couple of sewer projects, but yeah.
well, they might have, but not $30 million worth of these
Well,
various
anytime we
projects.
can get our sewer projects and water projects updated, it's good, that's a good
Well,
expenditure.
we've done all that. You can see
State
good about
law,
that.
state law mandates where this money is to be spent, and the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission is doing everything but.
They're not getting a return on investment.
No. And you can't tell me, I read the law. State law mandates what this money is to be spent on. And I've seen numerous times in the past when I first exposed the Redevelopment Commission for its unusual ideas by appropriating money for waste baskets in a downtown city of Michigan City. I mean, painting light poles the color of paint. Should it be this color of green, or should it be that color of green?
The color of the street signs.
I'm just saying that you have a board that is sitting there that is a rubber stamp for somebody.
We need to get back to the basics of making.
That is correct.
Dave and Tony did not grow up when I did, when the downtown of Michigan City was so downtrodden that you couldn't even get people to go down there.
Oh, I went to
That
school
north
down
end-
there in the
The
70s.
north end
and-
of Michigan City was a blighted area. Sheridan Beach was a blighted area. Shoreland Hills had about 15 homes in it, period.
Well, how did Shoreline Beach come out of the blight?
Well, it was never in the blight. The problem was that
Sheridan Beach.
Let me finish. It did not. Oh, Sheridan.
How did Sheridan Beach come out of the
Because
rundown
people
area?
came here from other areas, invested money.
Did they
in
get
it.
money from the TIF district?
They
No.
might have got some.
They get nothing. It just grew because it's a place to be. It's nice.
Yeah,
It's beautiful.
it-
It's
it
lake.
is. Yes, it is.
It's a gem.
But
You didn't have to give
But
them money.
that's the point. The north area of Michigan City is now growing, regardless of where the money came from. It was a horrible area for a long time. We finally got it moving. Now maybe
Wait, how did we get it moving?
we allowed them.
what did we
Whoa,
do
whoa, whoa.
first?
What we did first.
Franklin Square. And then we ripped it out.
Yeah.
Failure.
Yeah, well,
Complete failure.
now you're talking about the mall that was a failure. In
Failure. Then we tore it out.
Yes, finally.
And finally.
And we finally took out the parking meters, believe it or not.
And the parking meters.
Nobody used the parking meters.
And we took away the
Now,
adult theaters. that
What
were
I
bad.
want to concentrate on is how we're going to move forward from here. In both Northwest Indiana and throughout the state of Indiana, one of the situations we're looking at is the buildup of nuclear energy because of data centers that are growing up. If you take a look at the chart where they're proposed and where they're already finished and in
I'm sorry to interrupt, Bob. We're getting off the subject. I'm talking about 36.725.7 as
I
used
thought
in
we
this
were
section.
talking about money.
As means a person whose principal function includes the provision of educational program, work training programs, work retention programs, marketing and advertising and land location, any other programs designed to prepare individuals to participate in a competitive global market. After making these findings set forth in subsection 3, the Commission, the Redevelopment Commission, or two or more commissioners acting jointly make contact with eligible entities to provide educational programs, work training programs, work retention programs, marketing, advertising, and any other programs designed to prepare individuals to participate in a global market. So far as I can see it, by the Redevelopment Commission rejecting the request from the Michigan City area schools, they violated all those provisions. Before a commission may contact for a program described in this subsection B, the commission must find that the program will promote the redevelopment and economic development of the unit and benefit and is in the best interest of the unit's residents. Is it in the best interest of the user's residents to build a gigantic motel on downtown Franklin Street when we have 46% of the population living at or below the poverty level? I don't think so. Okay, the commission may not spend bond proceedings or more than 15% of the allocated tax proceeds it receives on an annual basis to fund a program described in some subsection B. However, of the amount available under the subdivision, not more than 7.5% of that amount may be used in the described subsection 4. Money is available for economic development within the community, and they're spending money on grandiose ideas. The latest grandiose ideas is to initiate a new TIF district on south of Michigan City on I-94 to subdivide some property for a, 30-acre advancement, to establish a new TIF district to extract from the base of Michigan City additional funds. It's going backwards, people. The general fund is a funding mechanism to fund the city.
Dave, if you look at Michigan City over the last 50 years, it has gone forward every year, year by year. It was a horror story. You have no idea, because you grew up in LaPorte. They didn't have the same problems. And as a result of that, you got no idea of what that north end of Michigan City was like. You got no idea. Well, you're starting to get some idea, because not only the Republicans have left Michigan City, the Democrats are leaving Michigan City. We had, I'm going to tell you, 1971-72, a population of about 42,000, not counting the prison. Today, we're down to 28,500. Over that period of time, 1/3 of the population left Michigan City.
And we discussed that on this program, and the reason why that happened was because of the initiation of NAFTA. We talked about NAFTA and the jobs leaving. The jobs left the community. And the money has been coming in, as I said, $30 million. Show me what the city of Michigan City got for that $30 million. It got a lot of grandiose ideas, and it got a lot of rich engineers and a lot of individuals and rich attorneys. But the $250 an hour job that an attorney charges to read a letter is not economic development as far as I'm concerned.
All you got to do is walk downtown and take a look at the facilities that are there.
Yeah, doctors and lawyers and all wealthy people.
Restaurants, you wouldn't believe. We never had a restaurant on Franklin Street like some of those we've got downtown. And we also have very nice places for the average person to go in, if they so desire.
Did you get $250 million of investment? The answer is clearly no.
Well, now,
Downtown's better, but did you get $250 million of increased investment? The answer is clearly no.
well,
Since
okay.
the day we got this casino and the money that the redevelopment has had every year, show me $250 million.
Now, you're not going to let me count the casino?
That casino is extracting millions of dollars from our economy. Individuals who can't, individuals on the.
You could count the casino. How much is the casino worth?
Oh, I would guess
50 million?
Well, I would have said 100 million, but yeah, it's in that neighborhood.
What's this tax? So
All right, let's
again,
split the difference.
it's a rate. It's a return on investment. We don't have it now. Again, if we get Sola and 11th Street and Michigan Boulevard and Memorial, maybe that return we'll see 250. And I'm just talking about the money we get if we hadn't invested it. If we haven't invested the 250 million, we'd have 1.5 trillion. So show me 1.5 trillion dollars in Michigan City. You can't.
In the meantime,
Now things are looking good.
they're looking up. I agree.
Let me make my point.
In the meantime, it's going to take 15, 20, 25 years to pay off these bonds. And at the rate of 2.5%.
Yeah, you're not getting that money.
2.5%. You're not getting that money, that accumulated money after 15 or 20. 2040, finally a trickle will go back to the general fund.
They'll have another bond. Go ahead.
Well, now I'm at the point of starting to say, because of over the last 10 years, Michigan City has lost more Democrats than it's lost Republicans. Given another 10 years of this, we can elect a mayor. So I'm looking at this from the bright side.
Do you really want to talk about past Republican mayors in the 80s?
Well, there's no difference in the past Democrat mayors. I mean, for God's sakes,
I don't think any of them were indicted. Anyways.
No, but we had some city council people that were indicted. Whoa, whoa, whoa. We had some city council people and almost a Democrat mayor who was indicted.
Go ahead. Love politics.
The bottom
Well, let me finish.
Another one. Ohio Street. from 10th Street south to Memorial Hospital, Ohio Street is a heavily traveled street that should be improved upon. Redevelopment Commission money could be appropriated through the bonding
No,
mechanism
I don't
to
have
make it happen.
Dave, I don't have an argument with that.
Then fix the roads.
I don't agree. Ohio Street should be just like it is and paved, because in the future, all these communities are planning for the future, 20 years from now, not even understanding how things are going to change technology, and we will not need 50% of the roads we think we need.
Well,
in
but you
10
look
years.
at Tony, you look at the traffic. I live on Ohio
There
Street.
won't be the traffic.
I-
Sorry, there won't.
Well, then, if that's
10
the
to
case,
15
I'll
years?
accept it.
There won't be the traffic won't be there. So I think we should have fixed Ohio. We should not widen it. If we do anything, maybe put some turn lanes in. But that's it, because the traffic patterns are not going to see increase in traffic. You're going to see a huge decrease in traffic. You're going to see a huge decrease in property values. You're going to see a huge decrease in population in everywhere, not just Michigan City. And we are sitting with blinders and the same old tired plans and planning, and we don't even see it coming. And every planner has done this in my mind. They make a 2040 plan, they make a 2050 plan. It's the same old tired document they put in there in AI now, and they change the dates. And they say the same thing, which I think is not funny, but it's fun to look at, that, oh, you're not growing. We're not growing. We're not getting population. But here's the same old tired ideas we had 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago. Michigan City's getting better. I agree. But have you seen a return on investment of $250 million? I think
I haven't
the answer
seen
is
it.
no.
No.
We have some good things. Fire department, sewer, water, streets have been kept up a little better than they have back in the 70s and 80s, but I don't see $250 million. I mean, we've spent some things on some crazy things. The planters on Franklin Street, what were those, 30,000 each?
Now, when you try $250 million, are you going to let me count the additions that have been made to the sewer systems? Remember, there's got to be 50 to 60 million right there to separate the sanitary stores from the storm sewers.
And the ratepayers eventually pay the bonds off on the ratepayers on this separation of sewers. The ratepayers
paid the bond.
The ratepayers paid
Yeah,
the
I
bonds.
agree.
Pay the bond.
You and me, we all paid.
No, he asked about investment in Michigan City. I'm
Well,
telling
that's
you.
not money that came from redevelopment.
Well, I didn't say it
that
was.
was bonds.
You asked me about.
I'm just asked $250 million came from TIF districts in the last 30 years to the Redevelopment Commission, not counting the sewer bonds we paid for, not counting the water, not counting anything else, the money we got from roads paving, from CCMG, the $250 million that were supposed to be spent to make Michigan City greater is not there. I mean, we have torn down houses that were dilapidated, that are junk. I don't think we should have torn them down. I think we should have fixed them up. The redevelopment could have paid to fix those up, put a family in there with kids, would have been much happier. We tore down Memorial Hospital. We tore all the houses down by Memorial Hospital. Those, again, go to Beacon, look, those are platted lots. You can put one home on each one of those lots. I believe it's about 30 or 40 lots.
What are we
I would
talking-
rather have 30 or 40
what
single
are we
family
talking-
homes.
What are we talking in size of lots? 30 foot, 40 foot?
They're big enough to put a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house on with a
30
family
foot,
of 4.
40 foot.
They're standard Michigan City lots. Elston Grove, standard lots. We would have already had, well, how long did Memorial site sit now? 15 years?
Memorial
Since we
site?
tore it down?
No, we tore it down when I was on council in late.
And if there had been
early
homes on those
80s.
lots, those would have been families
Paying
with
taxes.
kids paying taxes in our school district every point of the way. Instead, we spent hundreds of thousands on 9th and Pine, and it's still sitting there. And the problem with that in construction, if you leave that concrete set out there, they're gonna, and I hope this doesn't happen, they're gonna have to test it to see if you could even use it. Or if the architect either wants to use it, tear it out, grind it up, and start over. Well, as soon as they do that, there's our hundreds of thousands of dollars just being ground up to the wind.
In my mind, I see the Redevelopment Commission as a rubber stamp for somebody. Some influential individuals want something to happen to better themselves.
I don't agree. I think it's just they're lost and they don't see the return on investment. Maybe this redevelopment commission should ask when the project comes on, what's the return on investment and what's the chances of actually getting it? If the chances are small, we're not doing it. If the chances are big, we should do it.
Going back to the request from the school city asking the Redevelopment Commission
There's a
for
return on
metal
investment.
detectors. There'll be a return on investment because the security within the school system would be improved. You could also have metal detectors at City Hall.
There's a return on investment.
Remember, those were my ideas.
I know they were your ideas. I give you credit for it.
But the data center has a return on investment. But
Yes.
that's private money that the
Well,
mayor said.
that's all part of development, Tony.
But that was a private industry with their
I
own money.
understand
They
that.
didn't ask any money
But
from
they
the
came
city.
here on the overall situation in Michigan City.
They came here because the site was ready.
No, they came. Because
That's correct. It was ready. It was zoned properly.
Because it was zoned industrial.
It was ready.
But in addition to that, it had the water and it had the sanitation.
And it was already there.
Yeah, it was already set
It
up.
was already there prior to the redevelopment,
Yes,
or
we put-
prior to,
Michigan City invested in it when it was Royal Metal.
Yeah.
In order to get Royal Metal out there.
so you didn't need a redevelopment commission to bring that in.
It did way back when Michigan City did.
The redevelopment commission money into the Royal, the Royal
Yeah, I'm
Metals
pretty sure
Place.
they did.
Well, I drove.
And it worked.
I
What?
drove this. I drove
Yeah.
the 6th ward. I drove the 6th ward today around all, and I see individuals, residential homes, having signs, no data center here, no data center that. If that data center is not implemented here in the community, that tax rate on that house that has a sign in its front yard
Going up.
will be going up.
Going up.
Because there's expenses involved with us owning property within the city. Fire protection, police protection, water and sanitation, and so on. In order to maintain our classification of a city of a second class under the state law, we must provide those necessary city services. It's mandated by the state that we must have this revenue source to.
And I go back to Bob. It's a return on investment. I don't know how many times I can say that. If the data center's coming in and we're going to bring electricity, and this is way out there, if Michigan City Redevelopment Commission would have spent its money on a mini nuclear reactor, if they would have, say they would have got wise, because Kingsford Heights is its own electric utility. The town of Kingsford Heights is their own electric utility. They don't have, they contract the NIPSCO, but they make and produce and run their own electric facility. If Michigan City had spent something like some money on a nuclear reactor and said, we bought it, everyone in Michigan City gets free power, that would have been redeveloped.
When Royal Metal went out there to Royal Road, we didn't have many nuclear reactors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
And now, not only that, then a wiper company came in,
Yeah.
ANCO, and we still didn't have nuclear energy that was available out there and could be available out there. Yes, we are starting to get it. And I have a feeling once this data center is completed, and it's been in operation for 3, 4, 5 years, you might also see something along the lines of a mini nuclear reactor being put up out there to take care of their electrical needs.
I don't think so.
Now, that's what I wanted to get to. Because basically what's happened in this region is if you look at southwestern Michigan, the Palisades Nuclear Facility, American Electric Power, and other things that are going up in that area, including developments of many nuclear reactors. This will be a real powerhouse. Now, throughout the state of Indiana, now I believe this is probably 2024 data, but there were 13 proposed data centers. 10 of them are in the northern part of the state, which means that we will be getting huge amounts of data centers that are going to need electricity. We're going to have probably many nuclear reactors, especially in the central part of the state, if we're going to be able to supply the energy that's going to be needed. But the great part about having these, and I'm going to talk a lot more about this in the coming years, is right now we need to get back into the processing area. Now, what do I mean by that? We just got into a big riff with China over cooking oil. We raise a lot of soybeans. Then we put them, now remember, this is a small density per soybean that takes up a huge amount of space to ship those things to China to be processed into cooking oil. We need to get the processing of cooking oil done here in the U.S. Now, I noticed that Walmart is selling peanut oil. I would assume that peanut oil and cooking oil basically perform some of the same functions. Now, if people are using peanut oil, maybe we've got a growing situation where cooking oil might also be used in this area. the more of this processing we can get, the better off we're going to be. Now, let me go back to one that's historic, and that's the steel industry. For years, the steel industry operated on iron ore being mined out of the Mesabi Range in Minnesota. They floated it down to Gary, Indiana. That is the chain of supply. Then into Gary to be made into various kinds of sheet steel and other types of steel products to be shipped to the automotive industry, the wash machine industry, the kitchen aid machine area.
All appliances.
All kinds of that. That was, we need to get more into mining it or growing it agriculturally, then doing the process, and then having it become a finished product here in the United States and certainly in the Midwest. And that's where our concentration should be looking to.
Our concentration, our concentration should be the development of Michigan City, the economic development of Michigan City, which is not happening.
Well,
who cares about iron ore in Minnesota? We should care about the people here. We should care about getting the 46% who are at or below the poverty level out of poverty. We should care about getting them off of food stamps, creating jobs, making a better environment, not for us, but for our future kids, the future generation. We are missing the point. We have been missing the point since 2018 and before, and I'm sorry, that's the way I feel.
Whoa. When we talk about how does Michigan City participate, we've talked about this before. We need to start looking at Dave's old ward, the area out there on the west side. We could start by tearing down the old Pullman water tank out there. That would be a huge plus. But we need to get sewers out there. We need to get water out there. And there's where Dave, if he goes to the Redevelopment Commission, should be pushing. That area, time out, that area will support the types of manufacturing that we could do and be very good at in this area. Now, I've thought about
a data center.
I'm sorry?
Could support a data center.
Could support another data center. I have no problem with that. Or it could support something like we could build marine types of vessels, icebreakers. We could build tugs. And we're starting to do that. We haven't done that for years in the United States. Now, the federal government under Trump has made some grants to naval yards in Philadelphia and other places, but we need to start looking at how do we do this. Now, the reason I like the icebreakers and other types of small craft like that, large engines which come out of Cummins in Columbus, Indiana. The supply situation is right there. Steel that comes out of Gary, right there. If we could get some of that manufacturing into the west side of Michigan City, which Dave and the city council had saw fit to fix that area up 50 years ago, we might have a shot at that. But we've got to get sewers in there, we've got to get water in there, and we've got to get it available for industrial development.
And we've got an entity of the west side that have ditches that haven't been cleaned out in 20 to 30 years to alleviate the water flow under the proposed Marquette Mall office building. The water table under the Marquette Mall office building is quite high because the water cannot flow 67 feet down to the level of Lake Michigan. I'm just saying, it's our thought process in Michigan City is backwards.
Well, we're not looking at what we have. If you look at Pullman, right?
Yeah.
The whole west side was Pullman. And that came about because of two things. Trail Creek, which is part of Lake Michigan, and the rail. And then we just sat on our laurels and thought it would never go away. But guess what? Interstates came, moved to the south side of the city, and the rail literally died, went away. So what did we do? We got something. We got a shopping mall, but we didn't look at the future. And I think I like Bob's ideas, but if you look at the future, we know what it's going to be. It's going to be robots and self-driven cars. We need to get into the facility of, just like we did when Pullman was here, we jumped on rail and we got built rails. We need to get, if not that section, some section south of town by the interstate where these automated vehicles and robots come here, we fix them, and maybe we even build them, but we have to get the students ready to do that technical work, because that's the work that's going to be here in 20 to 40 years. We're going to need appliances. Appliances are going to be probably more robotic. Probably won't be anything what we think of them the way they look now, where you put your laundry in the front or the top and your dryer. They have washers or dryers that do the same thing in one unit. That stuff is the future. And Michigan City had the future with Trail Creek and Lake Michigan. We were blessed with it. And we had the future with trains because we were blessed with the rails. Now we have the future with the interstates that we are ignoring. And that's where we look to put our money to get those kind of technologies here. It's manufacturing, but it's light manufacturing. It's not heavy, nasty manufacturing. And data centers play a part because that all runs on data. And that's why I brought up something like micronuclear reactors, because this all runs on power. Just last week, China announced that they have actually built molten salt reactors,
Yeah.
which we supposedly shelved because we didn't want to give away free power. They're putting on tankers that can run by themselves, or freighters that can run by themselves and run for 10 years on this reactor in their freighter.
I hate to bring this up, but that's the same thing they use on Russian submarines.
Yeah, same thing. The Russians use it, so they run these vehicles free of power. If Michigan City or any other community was wise, they would look at building this resiliency, and I talked a little bit on the show when we did this, talked about the state prison. We built that area to be resilient. That means you have internet, you have your own power, hopefully it's free, and you people will come, manufacturers and technology will come, because that bill is taken off of their expense report, and they would love it. Now the other thing they need are kids or students that are ready and trained and educated in the technology.
That sounds like economic development.
That's economic
Oh,
development.
no, you're kidding me.
I'm sorry, I like hotels and apartments
I do as
and
well.
shops, but that's not the future.
But not everybody has the wherewithal to spend money at a hotel when they're existing on a low or poverty level
They don't want us
income.
to spend the money at the hotel. They don't want us to work and clean it.
I hate to use this as a hypothetical, but if you go take a look at Las Vegas.
Oh, Las Vegas is in trouble.
Time out. Well, they've been in trouble a lot
They're
of
in
times,
trouble.
and they get pulled out of it. But they've got two parts to their economy. Number one, they've got what we all look at, which is the recreation industry. But number two, they've got a lot of high tech behind that. It's the recreation industry that pays the taxes for the high-tech industry that comes in behind that. That's the good part of having a recreation industry. You're letting a lot of people from the outside come in and pay for it, all of those situations. And you can afford, or the high-tech industry can come in behind that, because their taxes will not be near as high.
Their recreation is high tech.
Well, I don't disagree.
So that's
But the
why
high-tech
high-tech's there.
industry is right there developing.
Their recreation is, which Michigan City is awesome, is not sitting on the beach. Las Vegas recreation is high tech. The machines, the gambling, everything is high tech.
They're going to do that right here at Blue Chip. They're going to do it right up at Four Winds. All of that's going to be high tech. We need to get the development of that high tech for usage in these gambling situations and other situations into the kinds of industry that Michigan City can afford.
We need that high tech here. We need to, and just going back to China, read the articles on China. China is so far ahead of us because they have planned for the amount of electricity they need times 3. They know without the electricity, you're never getting high tech. Here we are sitting with, bless their hearts, AEP and NIPSCO, and they understand that we need power for the data centers, but we need that times 3 to get the high-tech industries up here, to get our students and our children jobs that are high-tech, high-paying, high-wage, healthcare, retirement benefits, and the beach is just a bonus.
Now, I'm going to steal one of Dave's phrases. So I got this from you. We do need to take a new attitude.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Time out! You haven't heard me.
That's called TANA. Take a new attitude.
Okay. But it needs to be in the school system. The school system has to
I
start
agree.
taking education first. They need to start looking at how can we raise the scores of our students from the 3rd grade through the 6th grade.
By making the environment of the...
In terms of reading and in terms of math. And their objectives, instead of how much can we raise salaries, it's got to be how much can we put into raising the grade levels of these students. Now, I've said this 100 times. You start with more school. You've got to have summer school for the kids that are not at grade level. You have got to have Saturday school for the kids that are not at grade level. They have got to be brought up to their grade levels. We can't be graduating out people unless we want a lot of bus girls and bus boys. They can, oh yeah, if they're energetic, they can get hired. We need to have them up at reading at least when they graduate the 11th grade level. Math at the 11th grade level. They cannot be coming in at the 4th and the 5th grade levels.
We need to create an environment within the Michigan City area schools that will allow
I don't care
the
about
kids...
the damn environment. I want the objectives.
got
They
3
will be
minutes.
here at this point.
The fact...
Wait, we need to give Kevin McGuire carte blanche.
That is correct. That's what I'm leading up to. He made a formal request to the redevelopment commission.
we turned him down.
And the redevelopment commission turned him down.
We need to
Is
get-
that progress?
we need to get that
or is
boy-
that stupidity?
Or, time
Carte
out,
blanche.
time out, the school system starts to lead so that the redevelopment commission can come in behind and say, oh, look at that program, look at what it's done. You've raised
They
grade
are.
level.
But when you got entities that don't want to cooperate with
Wait a
one
minute.
another and put all their eggs in one basket, that's pathetic.
Time out. So that the school system can come in and say, look, this grade level has been going up 2 or 3 levels throughout our entire system. We need this amount of money to keep that going. They've got to be the starters. They've got to set the objectives.
And the school city made the request to redevelopment and redevelopment.
That's not a start.
And redevelopment
Setting
turned them
an
down.
setting
No,
a-
redevelopment turned them down based on state law that they're violating state
Setting
law.
objectives is the first one. Then attaining some of those objectives is next. Then the redevelopment commission can start to give them the money.
The redevelopment commission is a slush bucket for...
Tony, you're being very quiet.
I think we have Kevin McGuire. We need to give the guy carte blanche and whatever money he asks for to get us to the future. Because if not, we're just spinning our wheels some more.
If we don't have this environment within the school system to keep the kids comfortable in the learning process, they end up going elsewhere to other communities who can provide that conducive environment for
Now, I
education.
agree with Bob. We got to at least give them the opportunity to have extra hours or Saturday hours
True,
for kids that
true.
would like to increase and then maybe move on to make them increase.
True.
So we got 1 minute in there.
1 minute. All right. Before we close, I want to change. Next week, the Michigan City area schools have no classes. So
And no classes available for students who want to learn.
yeah. So on Wednesday the 26th, a brother group, they happen to be Bilas, are playing a concert at American Legion Post number 37. The door opens, I believe, at 6:30.
Well, you better tell them where the Post 37
Post 37 located on Highway 20, and it's a concert. It's $5 to get in, but we have a local group of one a 6th grader at Knapp School, and the other one is a senior at Michigan City High School who is just accepted by Indiana University. But anyway, they are putting on a concert. So if you're looking for something to do on Wednesday the 26th at Post 37, it's roughly about a 2-hour concert. The kids it's more highfalutin stuff above and beyond our level. You know, some of the stuff I don't understand. But anyway, if you're looking for something to do on the 26th, that's Wednesday. Kick in $5 and make these, at least they are showing the residents of Michigan City there's really something going on.
Playing you out.
Other than just yelling. I want to thank everybody for watching. Your input as to improvements or criticism of this program is greatly appreciated. Please contact Show's co-producers Bob Pollock, Dave Bila, or Tony Hendricks with your comments. You can email Bob at skrpollock@gmail.com, Dave at djbila1@hotmail.com, or Tony at emiagl@yahoo.com, or you may direct your ideas for future shows to our one and only staff writer, Sarah Bellum. Showing of our program will be Saturday morning at 10 a.m., Monday and Thursday evening at 7 p.m. on Channel 99, and you may also watch reruns of our program on our YouTube channel, 99 and Navigate News and Views. I want to thank everybody for watching. Have a happy Thanksgiving, and make it a good day.